Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there osia dem yopo.
This might be as a result of information failure or communication failure or gaps in communication.
Well, bottom line is that lights have gone off in parts of the country and the issues are being investigated and actions have been taken. Further action will be taken. The lights will be restored. And there's a press conference today by the minister. I think that it will be proper for us to hear what the Minister of Energy and Green Transition will say. Now, I think that it's important that we recognize that the Akosombo fire outbreak has knocked off a very significant percentage of energy supply that we're getting from Akosombo, about 1,000 plus. And we have BRI that gives us very little. We have the independent power producers also, who hitherto were threatening to, as it were, not give us. If that situation had not been sorted out, and the independent power producers were not giving us power, where would we be today? Now, the independent power producers were owed a lot of money, billions of dollars, which were refused by the previous administration, the NPP for that matter, which monies have been paid and are being paid.
Every government inherits some form of liability.
No. I'm painting a picture so I can come. I want the viewers to get the grip.
But I'm also asking you to factor that in.
No,
that
I will
every
factor.
Government,
let me first paint the picture.
Right.
Don't pour paint on my canvas. I beg you. Now, so they are being paid. Some amount of money has been ring-fenced to pay the independent power producers. That is why we are not hearing the independent power producers come at us as they were before. Now, that's the one CD that the NPP chose to call the Dumso levy, which very recently, before the fire outbreak, were actually in a frenzy to have removed, even though they knew very well that if that was removed, then it would bring us the independent power producers problem again, which would definitely result in Dumso. In fact, the NPP has a fixation of having Dumso in Ghana every time. In fact, if you listen to their narrative, it's all about pushing Ghana towards Dumso so they can say there's Dumso. NDC and the John Mahama government in particular has not had any problems publishing timetables for Dumso, or let's say power fluctuation timetables. In fact, it has. It's the NPP that has always been reluctant and resisted publishing these things, even when Ghanaians need to plan. So they invented that Doom CACA thing. It's not an NDC thing. NDC is not interested in small, as it were, milestones. The NDC is interested in resetting Ghana, and that's what the president has committed himself to. In fact, the 24-hour economy that is being pushed forward requires a lot of energy running 24 hours, not in little bits and spurts. So the NDC government under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama is trying to make major fixes. And you see, the obsolete transformers and other replacements that were being done were to ensure that we'll have steady stream of electricity and quality electricity. You can have brownouts, and that is akin to Dumso, where you have the power fluctuation, or you have your lights dimming, you have some faces off and all that. These are supposed to be a thing of the past so that the 24-hour economy can come on stream. You need security to run a 24-hour economy, and that also requires the street lights to work, and so on and so forth, and the security services, etc., and people to want to come out to as well do business. And so we are focused on a bigger picture. Now, I want to also indicate very clearly that personally I believe, and I'm sure when the investigations are done we'll see, there have been several actions in the past, markets especially, deliberately bent I remember the Dansuma market, for example. That one, I was there, and together with the national security and the mayor of Accra, etc., we found that somebody had gone to hide, gasoline in a portion of the market, ostensibly to make the fire, go out of control. So I know of at least some arson attacks on markets. We have seen.
Are you saying that
I have not mentioned. Please look. Let the dry bones be quiet. Dry bones be quiet. Dry bones be quiet. I was quiet. Listen, I was quiet. Please, I beg you, restrain him. Restrain him.
He's restrained.
I was very quiet. I was very quiet in his listen. So the dry bones be quiet. Dry bones be quiet. Now you see, I beg you.
You are making a category. That's why I'm asking you. Do you have evidence? You said you know of arson, right?
Yeah, I said I gave you the Dansuma market scenario, okay, of arson. Now there have been several market fires, and they have followed in sequence, and many believe that they are not accidents. In much the same way, we have seen accidents occur. Some people perceive that not all of them are accidents. I mean, these fuel tanker fires and people, in recent times, it's come one too often that the NPP has taken some action, setting cameras and having investigations done. In much the same way, the fires at the substation and the kind of effect it's having, okay, it's being investigated. I would want for us to wait, but many also believe that it could be the product of arson. And the number one suspects are the people who wish for doomsday to happen. Those who are always pushing us towards doomsday. No, please. No, I'm saying that. You see, hold on. But you wanted doomsday. You wanted to use the IPPs to achieve doomsday. You didn't get it because that one city was not taken off. Instead, taxes and levies were, managed by the finance minister, and you were still calling for doomsday. Today, you have had your doomsday, and at 1 a.m., dead of the night, that's when the devil operates the most. The witches and wizards operate around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and that's when the fire came up. And so those who are calling for doomsday, if doomsday has an occasion, who are the prime suspects? And I'm saying that it's arson. But if it is indeed the case, and many people believe it is the case, the fingers must be pointing in this direction. Listen to Bawumia talk. Listen to all the NPP people talk. They are pushing us towards doomsday. So if this is happening, now you see, for me, the hypocrisy in their action is even worse when you look at the time that they were calling something excess power, waste power. Do you remember that they said the power that was bequeathed them by John Mahama after his first tenure was a waste, assuming that he had not added extra, generation capacity. And we have had 1,000 knocked off at the time that we had about 1,500 and so on. Where will Ghana be right now? Where will Ghana be? So where you have 20%, which then was almost like 80%, today the 20% that's been knocked off because of Akosombo would have represented about 80% if they had succeeded in doing what they've done today to Akosombo. Back then, if John Mahama had not added. And what did they add to it? They didn't add to it. You see, a country requires, and you see, populations are growing. If you look at the Accra skyline, for example, or even just around this area, where there used to be a bungalow, now there are apartments, there are office blocks, and so on. Which means that in a small area, okay, either to maybe one bungalow, which would have taken maybe, I'm just using rough figures, let's say 10 watts. I'm just using, it's now requiring, let's say, 1,000. It's dramatically increased. And so there's going to be pressure on the equipment that is, being, okay, so let me just go back a little bit. And perhaps we'll better understand why some heads are rolling. That's the grid code and so on. So you generate the electricity, you transmit the electricity, and then it is further put in the homes. And there are three institutions that are responsible for this: the VRA, GridCo, and ECG, and in the north, NETCO. All right. These have roles to play. Forget about the line losses, which is inexcusable. If you go to some places that are not authorized to even exist, they have electricity. these are crimes that must be stopped, because why should we produce electricity and for some people to enjoy when indeed they are not entitled to, and those who are entitled to do not get?
Right.
There are people who have done illegal connections and so on. These are all wrong. You realize that even the nomenclature of the ministry is now towards green transitions, energy and green transitions, both in the fuel in the needs, going towards solar, going towards EV vehicles and so on. So you can see a deliberate policy direction as far as this government is concerned. That would also bring down reliance on electricity through the thermal plants and so on. Today, as we speak, Atuabo is supposed to be undergoing some, maintenance. Timing. Now that Akosombo is off, can we afford all of these things? And so when the minister is angry with Greatco and others, it's because he thinks perhaps, and I'm sure today's press conference would bring greater clarity, so I'll not go into those difficulties that he's listening. But he's sitting on top of it, and he sees the whole landscape. So for you to question his reason for, in any case, the man that they said should go, he's due to go anyway in a week. He's supposed to be going on leave prior to retirement in a week. So if something has happened and it's as big as this, and there's some investigation, we should wait for that 1 week to expire for him to go on leave. Please, if you don't know something, relax. Wait for the press conference. Don't be too much in a hurry, because you are making yourselves become number one suspects by the very proclamations that you make. No, seriously. Ghanaians are listening. Ghanaians are angry. Look, Dansuma, where I live, our lights went off too.
Are Ghanaians angry at the NPP?
They are angry because they are the suspects.
Their power is not stable.
No. Look, the guys wanted the power to go off anyway. They wanted it to go off using the IPPs by withdrawing the 1 CD, and they were calling for the Doomsaw. They're calling it Doomsaw levy. Take out the Doomsaw levy. So that the IPPs will be angry, and then we'll get Doomsaw. That wasn't done. They were not satisfied. Suddenly, boom, Akosombo is off. Who do you suspect? The persons who want Doomsaw when Doomsaw arrives. Look, parts of Dansuman had been knocked off. Fortunately, I had lights. But yesterday, we didn't have light in the morning till sometime in the evening. You know why? There was a problem at Mame's Inn. When they were fixing it, they forgot that there was some other small problem around the King Solomon area. So when it triggered that one too, so they had to go and fix the King Solomon one, and we had light. So there are instances where even in this Doomsaw there can be problems for those who don't have and those who have. So let us not paint everything with a broad brush. Now, I think that we need more electricity now that we are going forward, and I think that we should go beyond this point. And I'm sure the president has spoken just before this thing happened. And again, if you look at the finger that is pointing to these people, the moment president speaks, it is highlighted. It comes on their radar. What can we do to make president's dream not be realized? Every sector, that's what they've been doing. With the road sector, he's going to do an expressway to Kumasi. Immediately they get there and they say no. Immediately the dollar is working, then they come up with something. Now it's doing so. Just a week away from the president's major pronouncement in the northern region, and he's sitting here telling us about it and then tying it to other things. What did you do in your time?
Right.
You did nothing to add on to the energy, situation. I am sure that not too distant future we will have extra energy being deployed, so that we'll have enough buffers. So when these things happen, and of course the NPP will be around for a long time, so our detractors will still burn transformers, they would steal wires.
These are strong allegations you are making,
Afenyo Markins accepted in Parliament. He said he had been a board chair of ECG, and he knows that in his time it was a common phenomenon. In fact, I'm surprised he's not been arrested. I'm surprised he's not undergoing this publicly. And I'm not saying privately, it's not, because a lot of them are going privately. But Afeni Makin admitted that that got stolen, and those things, the over importation of the procurements that they did over the time, and the melting of those things, and the recycling of these wires back into the system. What's happening? It was a regular phenomenon.
Right.
So these guys should not be they are annoying Ghanaians. You guys, stop it. Look, when Bavia tells you something, think about it before you come and say it to Ghanaians. They are annoying us.
Right.
What is this?
No.
You see the big problem. You see the problem, when like you are running and you fear somebody that the person is behind you, So instead of you concentrate on running to become first, and you run small and look at your back, you run small, so you won't get. That is the problem of NDC.
Even not.
So that's NPP to the extent that they don't even know what to do now.
In your analogy, that's even required.
But then,
all distance runners, when you go for it, you have to look behind and check who is coming.
No, but theirs is too much because of that. It's affecting their going. No, Prince, I'm coming. Prince, I'm coming. Prince, I'm coming. Prince, I'm coming.
The UP party.
Prince, I'm coming. Prince, I'm coming. Do you know you are in government? Do you know the president of this country is President John Dramani Mahama? Do you know that? Do you know it is the NDC that produced him to be the president of this country? So you have a lot of work to do. So forget, don't be looking at the NDC. I'm with you. What has Bomia done? Bomia hasn't done anything.
If you read the mindset of government, it looks like there's a suspicion. That's something.
It's a one allegation they are trying to.
There's an
Senior, please, let's don't help them fix this. You see, it is because of their incompetence. It is because of inability to manage the energy sector. This is not the first time. They always want to hang on something. What will be anybody's business? And a question here: don't we have accidents?
Oh, so you are saying that?
Let's wait. Why are you jumping? Why are you suspecting? Why are you saying that some people or somebody must be behind it? Why? That is how. The truth of that, we must put things in right context. Why is it that any time NDC is in government, especially President John Dramani,
your microphones are off. Your microphones are off.
Why is it not put things in perspective?
So the one CD is not off. So look at what we are going through. So what is the difference?
That's why it's spot.
Gentlemen, your microphones are off.
We are confronted with a lighting situation. Inadequate electricity supply to our homes, to our businesses. Oftentimes, we even speak more of the inconveniences in our homes than the businesses. Yeah. Some businesses actually rely on power. So let's put all of them together. That no matter which way we look at it, it's a source of inconvenience to our entire living. But what are the issues? I believe number one, we heard earlier on about some transformers to be changed. And I think the first hint came from the finance minister. You see, if not for the way who we are and what we like to do, the partisan lens, I should say, last November, when the finance minister was reading the budget, there was a hint of purchase of 20,000 transformers. So if you look critical, one would question, how 20,000 and to be replaced? Then the question would be, is this for what do you call it, procurement economics? Or generally, how did we run the system to the extent that we'll have to wait and now replace 20,000 transformers? I think that's a genuine issue to put on the table. This was said way last year. And I believe early this year, I don't know whether it was a press release or a press encounter, the minister also gave an indication of some 20,000 transformers to be bought. So for me, from an open point of view, I want to think that those are the signals that, look, we have a problem at hand. That if 20,000 transformers are going to be replaced, that's quite huge.
For efficiency purposes.
Fine, that's okay. So the question will be, why did we wait up to this time?
Why did we wait?
No, I'm not calling a party. The most important is that if ECG was being run efficiently, we should not wait for 20,000 transformers. I can understand if it is 200, maybe 300, that's fine. But 2,000? That's quite huge. So there's been some kind of lapse if you look at it from that angle. I'm not going to blame anybody who waited, or we have to look at the reason why we have to wait up to that time. But I think it's not good enough for us to wait to replace that huge quantity of...
Sorry, Doc, not to interrupt. But have you looked at the consumption patterns over the past, let's say, 8 years?
That's what I'm saying. You want to place the blame at somebody's doorstep.
No, I'm not placing. I'm asking.
I'm looking at ECG as an institution.
Yes.
Okay. We know that we don't normally even plan our areas very well. Oftentimes, the people go there first before the services come in. Well, it should have been the reverse. If we do our layout properly, before people go to start building an area, the lines for water should be there, lines for electricity should be there, lines for other services should be there. But oftentimes in our situation, it's the reverse. Like if you go to some of our French neighbors here, that's what normally happens. Before you can go to settle in an area, the layout is there, the services providers are there, or the lines, the facilities are there. You only build and then you tap, or you connect. We don't do that. So all I'm saying is that we shouldn't have waited to even reach that stage that we'll have to replace.
They waited
I'm not blaming anybody. So I'm looking at the institution and proper governance and proper efficiency and effectiveness of the institution. We shouldn't have waited up this time. Maybe replacing 100 would have been more sensible. 150, 200. We didn't do that.
But if you still need to replace that much, you have to replace.
And that's the inconvenience we are facing now. That's the inconvenience we have to face.
No.
Then the second one is the power that we lost as a result of the fire outbreak at Akosombo. That's also. Well, I think I want to support whatever the position the minister has taken, that whoever is responsible should just step aside for investigations to go on. That is just to allow free flow of investigation. I mean, you can imagine if the man is still at post and yet he still has the clout to give instructions or give commands, what is going to happen? So asking somebody to step aside.
In this instance, is he a prime suspect? Or
no. That does not make the fellow a prime suspect. It's just a normal thing that when something happens in an organization, you just ask whoever is in charge, just step aside for the period of the investigation. If you are exonerated, you go back. If now I even hear that he's even a week to retirement. Not even So I don't think we should even play politics with that one. It's just a question of asking whoever is in charge, step aside, let investigations go on, and then unfortunately I don't know the linkage with the Kumasi, but if you follow the electricity situation in Kumasi, there has been complaint for some time now. It's terrible. Yes, it's terrible. So if efforts to reposition officers are underway in order to ensure more efficiency, effectiveness, why not? But I know the usual banter of NPP and NDC, we can't do away with it. But let's look at things the way it should be, and let's put Ghana first. So at the end of the day, the last aspect which I see as an issue, you mentioned communication, I see is our system of governance. You see, our whole governance structure, sometimes we just need to wake up and try to do things better. That for every situation, let's ask ourselves, what is best in the interest of Ghana? Right? So for example, if, as they also said earlier on, if electricity is going to go on in a particular area, I know there has been some communications out there to inform people, but the pace is not sufficient, it's not enough. But why can't we add additional layers to ensure that people are properly informed? You know, at the disassembly, whenever they want to collect taxes or this how do you call these tolls from these petty traders, they go around with their vans and then they revenue. So why can't we employ that additional? You see, sometimes we just rely on whatever press releases on the TV, on the radio. How many of our people actually listen to this? Is just maybe the average or the little. So we can use information vans so that for areas.
Is it a way that they don't want to let the government look bad? So let's try and manage it.
But it's better to inform me. It's better to inform me that my area will be without light than to keep quiet.
All politicians, they all do that.
So like I said,
NDC,
if for example,
they all engage in that.
If for example,
all of them,
there was already a hint as of last year that 20,000 transformers are going to be purchased. Early this year, the minister says that 20,000 transformers are going to be replaced. How many of our people actually got this information?
No, that is consistent.
Yes.
Purchase, then you replace.
No, so I'm
repeating. No, you are repeating as though another set of 20,000.
No. I'm just saying that the information is already out that 20,000 will be replaced. But maybe not many of our people, or some of our people still have not heard it.
Okay.
So all I'm saying is that if anybody heard that 20,000 was put in the budget So that's already an indication of an event that's going to happen.
Yes.
Then the minister repeats this year.
Yes.
But even as we talk, I can tell there are some people who say they are not aware of.
Okay, so do you?
So I'm saying that
hold on. The information service vehicles.
Let him land. Then let him land.
So I've understood. I'm just supplying him information that
you judge it down.
No, he said the information distance could have gone into the communities, and I'm saying that there are new information vehicles with televisions.
I have not cited.
No, I'm saying that they have not. No, you know they had to. Put them in this. It's just like the transport situation. We imported the things; they are not on the road.
Yes.
You have to go through some processes. These are almost ready, so there'll be a much more efficient information dissemination thing going very soon. But just by way of persuading.
Thank you. Yes, but as of now, people are crying for the information. So they say that they don't know when their lives will go off, when it will come.
Must we wait until this equipment can be before we get information?
So if there's any way
for the premature action,
hold on.
So all I'm saying that if there's any way, or if there's already an existing arrangement where even these assemblies are able to go around and inform, let's deploy that now. As we wait for whatever vans we are talking about, because people need the information.
They are available now,
so that
we only have the old ones in the system. The old ones.
Which old ones?
Information services.
How many are available right now?
I don't know.
Exactly, because
offices all around the district.
So for me, I'll end it there. Let ECG come out, find a way to look. If light is going to go off in a building, come around in the morning, inform the people. That's all. And then
that is why I indicated to you that both parties are guilty of that, because they will not. The moment, and it's the mindset. The moment you issue out the schedule, then it's the admission that something is happening. Both parties are guilty of that.
NDC does not hesitate to put up.
You didn't tell us, but we are experiencing it. Isn't it better that you tell us?
No, but
we are experiencing it.
Yes. Let me be frank with you. I think that you've been very unfair. NDC is not like NPP. NDC is not afraid to put a load shedding timetable out. It is the NPP, and I'm sure that if there is going to be a load shedding this afternoon, when the president's minister, who is responsible, comes to speak, he will make sure a load shedding timetable is put out. There's no difficulty at all about that. But the most important thing is to fix the problem. And I'm saying to you that the information flow, for example, at least I am aware that those vans are available and about to be deployed. Last but not the least, the media, you have a responsibility also. It's not just the government that must put out the
I can't do somebody's job. I can't do somebody's job for him. If you bring the press releases, we'll carry them along. But I can't do ECC. I can't sit here and do ECC.
The current energy minister cannot solve this problem for us. We know. You know. Mama first. He was the deputy minister of energy.
We have to look at that next topic, which is also very critical.
Today he's now the current minister of energy, and it is not different from what we experienced under him. So Ghana is we are serious people. We are not kidding.
Are you justifying us?
What justify what asset?
Are you making that a categorical statement on the show?
It's incompetence. It's incompetence.
Effort to make Dinapo look bad.
No, what effort? What effort? It is the action.
You are using words
Dumso is
on the platform because it's a show. I know, but I'm saying that you are making categorical statements. Do you have?
There is a deliberate action pointed at making somebody look incompetent, making.
But his words is deliberate. It is not we who are saying it.
So you have motivation.
No, what brought us here? What brought us here? What brought us here? If our words were not going off, we will be discussing.
We wanted a certain levy off so that we do so.
The president of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama, tell us that please, this is not doing so. It is because of the situation. The president has to come here.
Gentlemen, your microphones are. I'm
the energy minister. The president and the NDC government is fully aware that when he talks, we don't take it. No, that is his trademark. The president himself now has to come in and dissuade the situation, and that is what we are expecting the president to do. Well, if you say you have competent people, let's turn our attention. What is agenda? I don't have any agenda.
Can I run?
I want competent people. It's a critical sector.
Can I run
the show, gentlemen?
Thank you. Let's turn our focus now, right? And look at.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal. Ghana. Nipa share, Nipa follow. nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases. PENDREAM TV.